What's going on, everybody? Shaner, cranking up the music for you. Shangomal of the Sick Podcast, formerly of Habs Tonight, which potentially may return at some point. Anyways, which we've discussed with Dale and Brando and the crew, Anik, but nothing imminent, guys, so don't get too excited just yet. But anyway, Shaner, my friend, you know I love having you on. I think the viewers love having you on even more because every time you come on, everybody shows up, bud. So not to pump your tires too much. I know you can handle the praise because your ego's in check. You're young enough that you're smart enough to handle. Anyway, I don't need to tell you, I don't need to get into how great I think you are, even though I love telling you how great I think you are, because you're one of my good buddies. And I am looking forward to hopefully seeing you in person in less than 2 weeks, my good friend. As we just
yes, sir.
discussed. So Dixie will be making his way to Montreal. I'm talking about this in the third person. Just stop me from doing that, okay, for now. But I'll be heading your way to see all my family and a handful of Montreal media, including yourself, because you are one, and going to see a Habs game against the Winnipeg Jets on October 28th on the Saturday, which is going to be a blast. But before that, hopefully get to meet with you and just really catch up and, enjoy the fact that hockey's back. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because hockey is back, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, I know that you do. We're going to talk about this game because I didn't have a chance to talk about it much because I worked 2 jobs the day of the season opener, of course. But that's life. That's just how it goes. And that's fine. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Leafs game. And then, of course, last night's home opener at Le Centre Bell. How was my French there? Not terrible. Not terrible. And we're going to talk about pretty much every line, I think, on the Canadiens right now. We're also going to put this out to Kirby. We have no update yet on the status of Kirby Dach. We know it's a lower body injury, but we're really hoping that it's short term and he's back sooner than later, my good man.
Yeah, definitely, because my fantasy team kind of needs him right now. That was a bit of a blow yesterday. I played him instead of Tyler Bertuzzi, who ended up scoring, obviously, right? So no, I'm hoping for a quick recovery from a personal standpoint, but also for the sake of the team, because man, has he been good lately. Like that second line, that's something serious. You can't break that up.
No, you can't. So, well, now you have to, I guess, because of circumstance, right? But let's talk. I guess we'll start with the Leafs game just because it was a few days ago. We've all had a chance to ride it's such a high on opening night, right? Like no matter where we're playing, the first game, it's just like it's content overload, right? Like just you're on your phone like crazy. You're watching the game. You're trying to follow everything and enjoy it and do content at the same time, and it's just like overload, right? Your brain just my brain seems to be fried at the end of opening night just because of all the hype, right? All the hype leading up to opening night, right? All summer long, going through the draft, selecting David Reinbacher, seeing the rookie camp, getting a chance to see them in person was awesome, by the way, in Buffalo. And you guys saw I met the Habs brass, which is a blast. But let's talk about this first game because it was a eventful game to say the least, right, buddy? Like what was your initial take of that game?
Again, like you said, overwhelmed. It's just so much happening, but I came out of it with a positive outlook, right? A good taste in my mouth. Even though we lost, it was still a valiant effort against a cup contender, right? They like to call themselves that. The Leafs Net and Toronto Sports Network. They love to say, "Oh, this is the year." These are cup contenders, and they almost lost to the apparently the worst team in the division. So that was nice. You know what? Like even though we didn't get the win, still brought them to shootouts. Which, by the way, please, for the love of God, abolish shootouts. I think everyone's been saying this. No one likes shootouts. All right. It's nice to see in like an open scrimmage. All right. Oh, they're going to do some nice, fancy little moves, whatever. We want to see overtime, please. Anyways, backtracking. But yeah, no, that Leafs game was something else. And Alex Newhook, first game with the team, 2 goals. That second line, I told you, like Slav, beautiful pass there on that Newhook goal.
Oh,
Kirby Dach, two assists at that game too. So, a lot to love. Jake Allen, you know what? He got a lot of flack for letting in some softies, but I got to give him some credit because he did make some very big saves throughout the game. Again, couldn't get the win, but that's fine. I think Sam played really well against Chicago. So I think that tandem is going to do fine this year, bearing any injuries. But again, we have Primo, right? So we're carrying 3 goalies to start the season, which is funky. I'm not used to that. That's going to be a weird little rotation. Maybe we see Primo against Minnesota. I don't know yet. But for that Leafs game, man, like I really just, it's hard to be negative about it because they're supposed to beat us. Like you look on paper, they're supposed to smack us, and we brought it to shootouts. So nothing to hate really there.
The only thing to hate is video replay. Let's just tell it like it is.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about changing overtime? The video thing, it's like, I know it's easy because we're on the negative side of the result, but when you have a power play that is abysmal as Montreal's power play has been for years, and then you see a near perfect power play goal by Cole Caulfield, the celebration, like the whole moment is happens, it's created, it's beautiful, we enjoy it, we take it in, and then it's just taken away
too. Yeah,
it was 3-0.
It was 3-0. The outlook of the game would have been completely different. Like completely different. Yeah.
If you're honest from a hockey fan standpoint, I know it's easy because we're Habs fans and we're just, we're beaking off and complaining because it didn't go our way. Yeah, of course. But like, it's just the toe in the crease Brett Hull call for me. Like that's
it.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is for me. Anyway, it should have never been there in the first place. Now, can you take it away? Does it make the call correct? Yeah. But I mean, someone made an argument that it should only be for the puck crossing the line. Should we have video review for it? Right now it's goaltender interference. Now it's offside. Where does it end? And now it just takes away from the integrity of the game. The moments like I just mentioned that are created. What's going to happen when Ovechkin beats Gretzky's record? What? Imagine offside. We're going to take that away. Wait, what? Like,
oh my God.
I'm sorry, but like I went on an unplanned rant here about it. But like, dude, it's just taken away from it for me, pal. I don't know. I know it's biased, but it's got to be addressed somehow, man.
Yeah, and there's another game too. I forget. You can comment who it was, but there was a player who scored their first NHL goal and it got called back because of an offside. I don't remember which game. I don't remember which player, but I know I saw it. And just such a buzzkill. But again, I get the argument that you want to play by the rules. It was technically offside, but it's just it changed the entire game. Like it changed the entire game. That one little play.
We're trying to make human beings perfect through technology. Guess what? They're still not going to be perfect. So allow for human error. I don't know. I mean, wasn't it Mike Babcock that challenged Kotkaniemi's first goal or something? Or whose goal was it? Ryan Paling's goal. It was Paling. It was Ryan Paling. And Babcock challenged
goaltender interference.
Yeah, because it's Babcock. Babcock, by the way. I'm just going to throw that there for fun because, anyway, we know what happened with him. But anyways, you get where I'm coming from, man. I didn't plan to talk about this for this long, but it's just it changed the complexion of the game from that point forward. It went the Leafs' way, and the power play ended up eating us up. But then we came back and went up 2 goals again, right? So I mean, like, yes, Ulanen, who people were saying, well, you can't take Armia out of the lineup. Well, he's proof that you can because he's becoming that 4th line player that I knew he could be over Armia. Sorry, not sorry.
Nasty goal. And you know what? Armia's doing fine in the AHL so far. I think he has like 3 points in 2 games, 2 goals and assists, something like that. But
there you go.
Yeah, like apparently, hearing from around the organization and the coach saying that he is okay. Like he's not taking it that bad. He's like, I'm here to play hockey. Let's show everybody what I got. Maybe another team will send out a trade offer, right? Maybe he wants to get moved, and that's how you do it. That's how you show up, you show you can do, and another team might, ring up Kent, say, hey, what do you want for Armia? But Ilonen, I think, really deserves that spot on the lineup. And you know what? I got a chance to go at the golf tournament to start the season there, and I got to see Ilonen up close. This man's huge. Like I don't know if he was that big last season, but I got to see him up close. Like big arms. Like this guy hit the gym. It shows, right? So expect some really cool stuff from Alonen this year, and we already saw like a really nice goal in the first game.
Cole Caulfield-esque.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that goal against Chicago is an all-timer. That one was beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
well, that's I mean, like Ulanen's goal is just like that goal
Basically
from
the
Cole,
same.
which we've seen Cole
Yeah.
do before.
Yeah,
But,
that's it.
yeah, man, that was sick. And like sick shout out. Yeah, shout out to you. Exactly. That's right. It's hard not to. But you know, let's finish off on the Leafs game. Let's talk about this Arbor Jackeye and Ryan Reeves thing. Like you got to be kidding me.
Who's your
With Ryan
daddy?
Reeves? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know. Like, it's sorry. Like, okay? Let me just say this. Is it obvious to you that Arbor Jackeye is? It's crazy. It's crazy to think that this is seeming to be what's happening. Is he becoming the league's top tough guy? Like, I know McQuaid, I know Delorier, I know there's guys out there that can fight Lucic. Like, someone's got to dethrone Lucic. To me, I think Luch is, to me, the tougher opponent because he's more technically sound. But we know from your show that George Laraque has worked with Arbor. Okay, so do you like the way is Arby becoming gonna become the league's top tough guy?
I think there's still some challenges in front of him. Delaurier to me is among the top, if not the top. Like
the left hand, right?
Yeah, he is so good at fighting. It's really like he goes under the radar. He's very, very underrated. But to me, he's one of the best. You know, what's nice about Arbor is that he is first and foremost a hockey player, right? Yeah. He is a player that can fight. He is not a fighter that can skate like some others. You know what I mean? Yep. So he's still valuable. He plays the second power play. You know what I mean? Like he can skate, he can shoot, he can play hockey. And on top of that, he intimidates the opponents, right? You know that when Arbor's on the ice, you better not do anything stupid, right? We saw against Chicago, I think it was Vlasic who pushed Cole in the boards, right? Anderson took care of him because he was closer. But right away, you saw Arbor straight for the guy. He's taken two, you know. Yeah.
I'm going like this because I got
it's his signature move now. He's done it twice. He did it against the Leafs. He did it against against Chicago. But like his presence is a skill in and of itself. Like it's so rare to have that kind of player that can play and scare the opponents, right? Because you know he will beat you to the ground. Like he bullied Ryan Reeves. It wasn't much of a fight, let's be honest. But Reeves couldn't land a punch. He didn't do anything, right? Arbor was the strongest guy there. He showed who's the daddy here. You know what I mean? So it just sets an example, sets a standard, and I think it's just good for the team overall. Just helps with the confidence, right? And as well as the bond. Right. These guys are brothers. They will fight for each other. And Arbor is the front runner. He's the leader of that mentality. You know what I mean? Like if one of my teammates gets punked or, you know, gets shoved in the boards, you're going to pay. You're going to pay. And that's what you need.
Yeah. From Arby, from Andy, from Pez when he's in the lineup. I mean, I think there's other guys that would step up. I'm just trying to think. You know, like when needed, Matheson will get in there. Like he'll scrum it up. I'm not saying he's going to drop gloves, but like Savvy and Matheson will do that. But what I really liked about the Leafs game, this is what I liked the most, and this is where I felt like, you know, the Canadiens are just playing with house money, coming in as the quote underdog, and that's exactly why I thought we should beat the Leafs because, you know, I've been learning to stop doubting the Habs even at the worst of times, and then, you know, the playoff run and last year's home opener in Montreal, which I was at also, but.
What a game.
What a finish more than anything else. But when it comes to the team playing as a team, when Montreal didn't have the puck against Toronto, I just genuinely sensed they really are a cohesive unit. Like Toronto's still figuring it out. Interchangeable parts with Domi, with Bertuzzi, with Reeves, you know, with I was going to say Landeskog, which is completely wrong, with Klingberg.
Yeah.
With John Klingberg on the blue line, who I like as a player, as a defenseman, personally. But with all the interchangeable parts, Montreal's got that team mentality the way Marty's trying to get them to play without the puck. And you can see it. I'm starting to see it. And I saw it from game one. When they don't have the puck, everybody wants it back.
Yeah.
Like everyone's trying to play the right way, play positionally sound to get the puck back, and then go forward and produce offense and work or create offense. So I loved the team play right from the get-go from these guys. That's why opening night is so interesting, man, because you see who they pick for the lineup. There's only 9 spots on forward. There's only 6 spots on defense, right? Like there's 12 spots on forward. But I just saw a team that is playing together, unified. They're on the same page. Whether they're going to be a bottom, team or not, I liked what I saw, and more of that dead weight is out of the lineup. So I don't know if we want to continue on the Leafs game because there's so much we could take from it. The power play. I do want to touch on the power play because we technically scored 2 power play goals in that game, and Cole Caulfield had them both. But even the Chicago game, which we're going to talk about in a second, I like the puck movement a lot better. They're shooting, they're reloading, they're shooting, they're reloading. I talked about this in my video earlier today. And I do think that Marty's getting more involved with Burrows on the power play. That's what we're hearing, right? And it seems to be showing because Marty was a power play specialist, dude. So, like, are you seeing a much better power play already in 2 games, or is it just, am I getting too optimistic here?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's definitely improved. The thing with our power play unit is that it's very young. You know what I mean? Like the oldest guy is our Matheson and Monahan. The other 3 are Dach, Caulfield, and Suzuki. You know what I mean? They're young. So progressing forward, that unit will continue to create chemistry together. They will only get better. You know what I mean? The second unit also impressed me quite a bit. I like Slav. He's in a shooting position this time, right? He's not in front of the goalie trying to catch rebounds. Marty and Alex Burrows want to use his shot because he has a nasty shot. He's showed us before. I think he scored a goal against St. Louis, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Just a rocket of a shot. So we know he can do it, and now he's in a position to do that. Alex Newhook, perfect complement to that. Arbor Jack guy's got the wicked slap shot, even a good wrist shot, like Marty mentioned. I think he's a great addition to the power play. And then if you're not going to put him, you have Caden Gooley on your bench who can fill that role too. Josh Anderson, obviously, you know what you're going to get from him. So both power play units, to me, showed real promise. Obviously, we can't expect Edmonton's power play or Toronto's power play. That's unachievable standards. Let's be honest here. But
right now,
it will be better than last year. It's hard to be worse, to be fair, but it'll be better. There's no doubt. It'll be a competitive power play. It'll make a difference in the game, right? Now, the penalty kill is a little more iffy. Like, I think it'll improve, but I'm not sold yet. I need to see more.
Well, we saw a lot against Chicago last night, so I think maybe,
and it was okay, but still they allowed too much movement. Like it got really close. Seth Jones hit the post at one point. That thing was in, right?
True.
Again, you're playing against Bedard, so obviously you have to expect some pretty nasty things. It's hard to contain him, but I don't know. I'm not completely sold on the PK just yet.
That's fair. I mean, Chicago, other than Bedard, like who else looked dangerous other than maybe Jones? Tyler Johnson was had both their goals, but maybe we should just get into the Hawks and Habs just because it was last night. But I think we got to talk about the opening ceremonies or lack thereof. It sounds like the Olympics, but dude, we were spoiled the last 2 years. Okay, so you and I and the Habs Tonight team went to the home opener against the Rangers 2 years ago. First full crowd allowed at the Bell Center since COVID started, and dude. And this is coming off of the Stanley Cup run where they went to the finals. It was bananas. Like that music, the music, the glow sticks, the EDM music, which I'm not usually a big fan of electronic dance music, but they had this carnation of Seven Nation Army that was just wicked EDM version that just it got into your bones.
Oh yeah.
You remember being in your seat for that one, right?
It was nuts. And then that game I remember too, it was Drouin's return from the help program, the players help program. So he got like a crazy ovation. Carey obviously always gets an ovation. Yeah, and then the one last year too. Like I was sitting really close by where the players were coming out, so I got to see, you know, all the guys in Carey just standing there, you know, waving at the crowd. Just chills. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Rangers one where when Drouin scored like that, like everything before the
Wow.
game made me want to go back to the home opener the next year. I didn't even care about the game because we
Yeah.
lost. We only scored the one goal. Drouin got the goal, which we kind of predicted. Nick predicted along with Dale on the show, and that alone made me want to go back to the next home opener. And then we do, and in the first one that you and I were at, the Rangers one, Carey and Shea Weber weren't even there, and they still got big ovations. Then
Yeah.
we fast forward to last year. Carey comes out. He gets a huge ovation because this was maybe his last time being introduced as part of the team. And then he shows up on the Jumbotron last night and gets a huge ovation again, of course. But I mean, the last two home openers, the ceremonies were spectacular. And, you know, Nick Suzuki coming out with the torch for the first time, taking the captaincy for the first time. Everybody coming out individually, it takes longer. But I mean, it was done so much better. Even like Rene Lacroix was off his game a little bit last night, which never happens. Like, you know what I mean? The whole Chris Weidman flub. Like, you know, like, I'm not going to give.
He was probably not like someone probably forgot to give him that list, right? Like, because
which never happens though.
They have an order, you know what I mean? And they have to be synchronized, and they clearly weren't yesterday. It's just complete dud. And it's surprising coming from this organization because they pride themselves in giving the best ceremonies in general, regardless of what it is. And last night's was not good. It was not good. Like when Laval Rocket has a better opening night ceremony, you know it's bad. Like the pump up video was good, I'll say. Like that got me fired up. But when the player presentation started, you know, going by position group was wonky to me.
It was weird.
I don't know. It just didn't work. There was missing something. You know what I mean? It just fell flat. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was. That's the first time I've seen that fall flat. Like in all the years, I've never been disappointed or like, oh, like that wasn't as good. This was the first time I can remember that it was like, oh, they were missing the oomph there. Like they were missing they usually have like quite the hype and, you know, presentation that you expect from Buckingham Palace and the Bell Center. So like, anyway, but regardless to say, they did get a good result, thankfully, in the game. So we saw Cole Caulfield get the first goal at home, which surprise that it's Cole again, just like last year against the Leafs, right? And then we see Tanner Pearson with a ripper. His wrist looks like it's feeling great because he sniped it on a pass from Caden Gooley. And then Sean Monahan from Harvey Bedard, as Hockey Junkie calls him, not Habs Fan TV. Okay, I got it right, guys. All right, let's give credit where it's due. Everyone gets the credit and the praise. Okay, we're all in this together. All right, we're all in this together in the Habs content creation world. But anyway, I mentioned the goals, Shaner, but it was the Connor Bedard show. It was his Hockey Night in Canada debut. I said the Connor Bedard show. We didn't really get much of a show because we shut him down mostly, I thought. But what did you make of the game itself? Because obviously we got the result, but a pretty exciting night for a guy who, like, all the attention's on him.
Yeah.
And it was still pretty fun to see another generational talent make their debut, right?
It's always exciting, man. Like, you know, a lot of hype, and honestly, to me, he lived up to it. Like, he was so dangerous. Every time he had the puck, I kind of held my breath. I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen.
I was just waiting for it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I watched him play for Team Canada at the World Juniors. I know what he's capable of. Like, this guy I've cheered for him, and he's blessed me with some beautiful hockey for my country. But playing against him, though, is very scary, and he ended up getting an assist. But luckily, we ended up, you know, not giving him a goal, even though he came pretty close. How many shot attempts did he have? Like at least 20. This guy was just ripping it up all the time.
he was nuts. There's a shot of Connor.
But rightfully so. Yeah, rightfully so. That's his weapon, right? His shot is already amongst the elite in the NHL. Like if not like top 10. Like he already has that kind of shot. So he's got to use it. Ridiculous. Insane. But I think, you know, obviously Chicago is not the same kind of opponent as Toronto. like two completely different teams. But it was still a really fun game, very physical. I didn't expect that, but it got a little rowdy. And some nice goals. I mean, Monahan on the PK, that was special.
That was nice, man. Yeah, he just knew he was
Really,
going to
really cool.
finish. Yeah,
Really
I
cool.
wanted
And
RHP to finish on his chance, but
oh, yeah, that
but
would have
then
been
he
cool
set up
too.
the next one.
There you go. Still got a point. But I
Yeah.
mean, got to give credit to Peter Mrazek, who has had a bit of a resurgence this year. First 2 games of the season's been really good, surprisingly, because I don't remember the last time he was good. So shout out to Peter Mrazek, I guess. And you know what? There's another rookie on Chicago that I was excited to see, and that's Kevin Korchinski. Again, played for Team Canada, the World Juniors, got to see what he can do. And he can play, man. That's a really, really good player. Great defenseman. Future in Chicago is looking all right to me. But you know what? We got the dub. Got it done. Lots to love. Not a whole lot to hate. Again, like Sam, I thought Sam Montembeault played fantastic. The 2 goals.
He was ready.
Goals, he couldn't do anything. He really couldn't do anything. He really, he stood up and I think he made us forget that bad performance in the preseason. It's looking good for the rest of the season. Hopefully he keeps on track, stays consistent, because that's been a bit of an issue, right? The little dulls here and there, but if he can stay on track, man, I don't know. It's looking decent.
I think so. And what's the defenseman's name again from Chicago? Just Korchinski, right?
Korchinski, yeah.
Yeah. So you heard his name a lot last night too. It was like him and Bedard. I heard more than anybody almost, I think. So yeah, for sure. He looked good too. And it's an interesting situation in Chicago, but definitely very fortunate to get him. And then with, with Patrick Kane, and I mean, Jonathan Toews hasn't even officially retired yet. Like, I think he's taken a year off, and then
I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe weighing his options, but it's weird because he hasn't officially retired. But I think more another player experiencing the burnout after COVID or something and just didn't have a chance to get to it yet. But I want to talk to you about a certain player on the Canadiens who has a lot of people concerned. I think you know what I'm going to say. And it's numero 11, Brendan Gallagher. I'm not as I'm concerned, but it's more about his health. Like, I'm not sure if it's like he can't keep up to the pace or if it's his health, because everyone seems to think that he's several steps behind and can't keep up to today's game all of a sudden. And he almost scored last night. He was within an inch of scoring, and Mrazek made a great glove save. So if he would have scored, do you think everyone just shuts up last night and then we're not having this discussion?
100%. He shuts up the doubters right away. But it is slightly concerning, right? Again, I don't know if concerning is the right word, because it is to be expected. Galley's getting up there in age. He is the oldest player on the team, I believe. Or is it Savard? Might be Savard. Anyways, he is the longest tenured Canadian. That I know for sure.
Yes.
So it happens. It happens. He can't play the way he was playing, because that's not sustainable. No player can play like that for that long. It's impossible. So he's got to kind of like rearrange his game, find a new groove. If it's a bottom 6 role, then that's what it has to be. But I still think he's an NHL player. He brings value that we can't really, like, intangible value. You know what I mean? Like, he is such a presence in the locker room, very important for the team bonding, the team culture. He's a guy that'll give his 100% every time he's on the ice, and that's how you set the example. So, he's not done. He's not done. People saying that are out of touch, but he is regressing. But again, it's normal. I don't think we should be too worried.
So what about him and Pearson and Monahan? Because at first I thought it could work in the preseason. I'm like, I'm not so sure. And then against Toronto, I was like, yeah, okay. And then last night, I'm like, okay, it's still there. So however long they stick together, it's a solid veteran third line. Like, Monahan on the third line is some pretty decent depth, right? I mean, I think that it could get better. I think it could get better, this line between the three of them.
That's it. And then you have to consider when Dvorak comes back, right? Where does he slot in? Does Monahan go to wing? Does Dvorak slot in at center there? Who gets bumped out? It's going to be interesting, because Dvorak is an NHL player. Like, this, people might not like him a whole lot because he's not very flashy, he's not expressive, but he is an NHL player. I guarantee you that. So he's gonna bump someone out, and the lines are gonna have to change. But for now, I think that third line, I wouldn't touch it. I think all four lines are balanced. Again, depending on Kirby's injury, right? If it's serious, if
Yeah.
it's long term, then you'll have to rearrange. But if not, I'm not touching them. Josh Anderson on the first line was a bit of a question mark for some. There were different players that tried out for that first line role. I think Hervé Pinard kind of was my favorite. It's just because I love that guy. But I think Anderson is a good compliment, and he's shown
up here too.
Yeah, that's it. But Josh Anderson has shown that he does belong on the first line. He queued up Cole's goal yesterday, so
Yeah,
I'm
that was a
not
sweet
too worried
pass.
about that. Oh, very nice, nutmegged Corey Perry, I think it was. So yeah, love to see that. Love Corey though, it's fine. But
I know.
No, I think Josh has his place on the first line. Second line, you're not touching that. I think that's the perfect complement line for all three guys. You know what I mean? Like Newhook needs a spot like that, needs a spot that shine, because in Colorado he was in the shadows, right? He was playing behind Rantanen, Landeskog, McKinnon. He didn't have a chance to really shine, and now he does, right? Playing with a guy like Dach, former third overall pick. This guy's he's feeling it. He's in a groove. If he's healthy, watch out. I'm smelling a little 70-point season right here. Okay, I'm calling it. And then you got Slav. You got Slav on the other side there. Perfect compliment for him as well, right? Players who think the game like him. They're all they're all on the same level. I'm really, really loving that line. Third line, we talked about it already. I think it works. And then the fourth line, it's exactly what you want out of a fourth line. Energy, opportunities, right? When the fourth line's on the ice, your big players are resting, but it's an added benefit when the fourth line actually produces, and this fourth line can, right? Hervé Pinard has shown that he can produce offensively. Alonen has a sick shot. He hasn't really showed it that much, but we know he does, and he can score. And Jake Evans is reliable as can be. Like, every team needs a Jake Evans. You know what I mean? So I think the forward lines, I wouldn't touch them.
Yeah, I mean, interchange Pez with. Well, who do you take out of Ullinen, or you're not going to take Harvey Pinard out of the line, but I think it's going to be Ullinen and Pez interchangeable, maybe a little bit. Yeah,
most likely. Yeah, I think
Pez
so. Slots in when there's an injury, but some games, they're going to be a little on the rougher side. You want that little sandpaper, a little grit in the lineup, so you throw in Peds instead of Alone, and I think that's fine. A few games interchanging those two, because I think Pez is an NHL player. Anyways, I think he has to go through waivers if we send him down, so we don't want to lose our Italian king, that's for sure.
Right. And you got the red hair supporting me too, which I love. So I always joke that I'm Italian with my wife. I'm not, but it's fun. I cheer for Italy. I do cheer for Italy in the World Cup, which Tony will hopefully appreciate one day. I have a jersey. Actually, I was in Rome looking for a jersey on our honeymoon. It took me anyway. It's another story. But man, when it comes to the defense, I want to talk about the defense again a little bit, because Jordan Harris is somebody that I think, I don't know how Habs fans feel he's going to be part of the team long term, but he's still a steady defender. I know he gets bumped around a bit because of his size, but he's a steady, smart player who makes good plays. And you got Savvy back there, who I had one person say like he can't skate, and Matheson, he's our top defender. Jack Guy's doing great. Gooley's looking pretty good also. Everyone's kind of coming to their own. Kovacevic, like Jonathan Kovacevic, another steady, a guy who's just took another notch. And he had a great training camp, right? But is there anybody you want to talk about, whether it's Jordan Harris or anybody on defense, that has stood out to you? Or to me, I think Jordan Harris does his job, and he can throw pucks on net and make things happen. He's a smart player. While we have him, I guess I'm glad we do. And then maybe we can touch on Norlinder in a moment as well.
Yeah. No, the deep pairings, to me, same as the forwards. I wouldn't touch him. I think they're perfectly fine. Harris, me. I've been the head of the Jordan Harris fan club for a while. He is my type of player. Just under the radar, but so reliable. You know where you're going to get out of Jordan Harris, and it's going to be good. Like you mentioned, he is very smart. Like, he thinks the game. ahead of everybody else. So he might not have the physical attributes to be that next level defenseman, but he is an NHL level defenseman, no doubt about that. Now, moving down the line, when the Hudsons and the Ryanbackers and all that, they start to make their way in, he might end up being the easy casualty, but it might not be that easy because like he is a part of this team, and I would like to see him long term with this team. But again, if his value is up and you have to make room, then it might be time to go. But for now, he stays in my lineup, no doubt about that. Now, there's one guy that's not in the lineup right now is Justin Barron, which I'm a little concerned about because that's a guy that needs to play, right? He is still developing very much so. So the potential is very much there for Justin Barron. He's got great offensive awareness, needs to work a little bit on the defensive end. But again, a big body defenseman, right shot, you need that. So I'm hoping he gets some reps often. I was thinking he goes to Laval, but they decided to send Lindstrom instead. I thought Lindstrom would have been better suited as the seventh defenseman. I still do, to be honest with you, but I'm not the one making the calls here. I really wish that Justin Barron would get a lot of play time because that's exactly what he needs. He needs to boost his confidence. He needs to play. He needs to develop, and he's not doing that in the press box, right?
True. Very true. I think they're going to get him into some games, and I think maybe it'll be Kovacevic or Harris that is interchangeable there when Justin comes in because of the right shot. But I mean, I know Jordan is a left shot defenseman, but he can play right. He can play right side. So I think that'll be who you take out because you can't take out Arby. You're not taking out Gooley. You're not taking out Matheson. You're not taking out Savard, I don't think, right? So that's what I see would be Kovacevic or Harris coming out for, and then Barron coming in. But what do you make of the camp that Norlinder had? It was seemingly the right move. I mean, I pumped his tires and I thought he was ready, but they have Matheson right now, right? So they have a power play quarterback, and now Norlinder can just take the great camp that he had and then hopefully have a great season with Laval and hopefully a great run with them too, right?
It was a pleasant surprise at that because you could never have too many good defensemen. That is a commodity, right? Many teams are still looking for high-end defensemen. They're still playing bums on their third pairing. So we have the luxury of having so many good defensemen and more coming. Like the defensive depth of this team is absurd, ridiculous if you think about it. So Norlinder just added his name to that list, right? Because he was discounted as of late. Like he didn't have the greatest seasons in Laval so far, but man, he showed up. He really showed up at training camp, and all the credit to him, right? That's what you need to do. You need to show the direction, Kent and Jeff, that, hey, I want to play here and I can play here. And he can. He's shown that. So he's probably going to be the first call up, right? There's no doubt about that. Again, maybe Lindstrom, but I don't know. I think Norlinder outplayed Lindstrom, so I would call him up first. You have to go by merit, right? That's how you establish a culture. If you only go by NHL experience or by the player's last name, that's not how you build culture and trust within your organization. You go by merit. The best player gets rewarded. So I think that was Norlinder. Now he's getting opportunities in Laval, playing the first power play unit. He's doing well. I watched the first game, missed the second, but I really like what I'm seeing from him.
So is the top forward call up? I know we're switching gears a little bit, but if Kirby is, are you just bringing in Pez, or are you looking at already bringing up Joshua Waugh or Emil Heineman? You know what I mean? Like what's Joshua Waugh?
That's my boy. I love him. He's leading the AHL right now. He's got 4 points in 2 games. Hello, he's legit, man. Like you even discounting the points and the goals that he's had, he's played so well so far. Even training camp, preseason, Laval, consistency, man. This guy is legit. He makes everyone around him better, and he plays better when he plays with better players. It's just a domino effect of like awesomeness. You know what I mean? It's it's crazy. But you obviously Armia is going to be most likely the first call up, right? But man, I can
Right.
tell you for
Yeah.
a fact, Joshua Roy is going to get some reps with the Habs this season. No doubt in my mind. Like he is number 1 or number 2 on the call list. There's no debate there, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, Army. That's right. Well, if he gets called up, like he better show something, or it's like is he gonna have to go through waivers again to go back down to Laval? Like, how would that work with Army?
Maybe.
I imagine it might.
Yeah. I'm a little iffy on the rules there. I think he
Yeah,
does,
yeah.
but I don't know. It's kind of like I get that you don't want the players to have an ego, but at the same time, you're an NHL veteran, gets sent down to the AHL, and then you have a rookie who hasn't played a single game in the AHL in the NHL being called up before you. I feel a little funky, but
That would mess with
that's
you.
why it's like politics at the same time, right? You have to please your players, but you also have to go by merit. And if there is one player who merits, it's Joshua Wawa. I love that kid.
I
Love
can't
him.
wait to see him on the power play, maybe with the Habs then this season. That'd be fun.
Oh, wow.
So he looked good. He looked good. That first goal he scored was like he kicked it to himself and then just top corner. It was wicked. So
beautiful.
Well, my friend, we actually got 40 minutes out of just 2 NHL games that were played so far, and that's because it's you and I, and we love talking about the boys. So I'm going to thank you for coming on, as I always do, because I love when you come on. And as I mentioned, the viewers, they do all the talking because they show up when you come on, pal. So it's always fun, and people always tell us we should do more shows, and I love seeing you shine. And I love seeing when you're on the Sick podcast, but I just feel like you can freewheel on my channel because that's how I roll over here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. Well, also, I look forward to seeing you in person soon. We'll
yes,
keep in touch before that. But to our viewers, we say thank you for watching, and we'll continue doing shows, of course, because Shannon and I just love doing this. Just because of the love of the Habs and hockey, and all of you. We love you too. So, for better or for worse, whether you agree with us or not, we love and appreciate all you guys. So, thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to pump the music up one more time because I just love this track. It was when I started my YouTube channel. I had this song. Yeah. It's just like an instrumental, but it works. I like it. So anyway, thank you, Shanner. Stay tuned to the Sick podcast for more great guests. I mean, they're doing a heck of a job over there. I watch all the time. It's getting better and better. Mike Johnson is such a treat. Like, what a treat that guy is.
Awesome guy. Yeah. He's great.
And I will say Max Lapierre because I used to have a Lapierre jersey. I will tell you this. I had a Lapierre jersey. I bumped into him in person when he made his debut at the Canadiens in like 2007. Like, we're going back a long time, and I used to love Max. So you guys are doing great over there. I just give you guys all the power for just putting out entertaining content, loving what you do, and everyone's feeding off of it. So we embrace it, and we support it. At least I do. So
awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Go Habs, go. We'll see y'all real soon.